Okay. Good. Today we're going to start the simplest SAS example that put everything together. So the foundation is based on what we had before, but the purpose is the following. Okay. Let me see if I can use one example to show you what I want. And if that one, we're basically would like to create this kind of work, okay? We will build a distribution, and I'll use Weibo, because if we understand Weibo, the other will be similar. And so the work, for example, I will start by saying that, oh, I have how to build a regression of that parole example and find all the parameter. And then start saying that, okay, if I have all the parameters, how can I build a CDF based on that? And then, of course, the CDF can change if I said, oh, we give them finance, or we give them, for certain age groups. So this CDF curve will change locations. And once you change the locations, I can start adding, saying that, okay, say originally we didn't give them finance. Now we give them finance. And then based on the finance change, you would like to see what? Significant CVAR or the I3 value, the integration change. And then you say that, oh, then that's a marginal extra I can use to change my reliability or change my functionality. And you guys heard the expression before, right? Just in time. What does just in time really means to you in system engineering? Which course or which where you heard that term before? That's just noticeable difference. That's J&D, not just in time. Just in time is used in inventory analysis. The inventory analysis basically said the following, right? You need to serve your customer, so you need to have the product available. But if you have too much products, the cost will be too high. So the Japanese, the Toyota, basically said that, what if I can have my assembly line without inventory? How to do that? Every time I need something, I just call my supplier, hey, bring it in, to cut down the cost of storage. But in survival analysis or reliability, it will be something like this, right? I need to maintain my products or my system at a certain level of reliability. And then I said that, oh, my reliability is not good enough based on some integration measurement. And then I will say, okay, I'll give you, certain amount of resources, trucks or something to deliver this. Then you will start asking yourself, how long should I wait? If I say I want to maintain my reliability at a certain level, okay? Like you want to maintain your car reliability at a certain level, right? But changing oil every time costs money. So what would be the reasonable expectation of your reliability? And then change the oil, not too early, not too late, just in time. And for the INME example, the parole example, same things, right? if I know that, hey, they could be in trouble, if you're a parole officer, would you, well, this is almost like parenting, right? Would you nag your kids, your teenager to death every day saying, oh, you should clean your room, you should brush your teeth, you should maintain hygiene, you should study hard? If you nag your kids like that day after day, you know that sooner or later you're not going to have your kids anymore. They're going to run away. But on the other hand, would you say that laissez-faire, let them do whatever they want, never nag, never say anything? That'll be bad too, right? So basically try to figure out when is a good timing I need to do something. You guys follow me? So this whole thing sooner or later become, okay, if I said that I'm going to make a cut, okay, at 100, 200, or 50, after 50 weeks, after 100 weeks, after 200 weeks, on certain cases, you know that it doesn't really matter. It's too late, or you don't really need to do anything. For example, I think I used this example before. Say there are a lot of students in this class, and you need to give them some preparation for their homework or examples to do something. Would you spend time on the A+ student? Because they're doing fine with or without you. Would you do that on those students skip classes, never show up, and never turn in homework? So you want to invest in certain people at certain time, only good enough to do something. So philosophically, that's not a very hard concept to understand what's just in time. But how to use SAS, how to use number to figure out where is that point. That is the second phase of this study, okay? So the things we're gonna do is I will show you a bunch of SAS program, and we're gonna start from regression, live regression, and then we build a curve. And once we build a curve, the problem we're gonna get involved is the following: is how to change the parameter to change the curves. Okay, here are another things we can talk about. Okay, is this? Let me find a curve to look at. Okay. Just look at this two curve. The curve one is using finance, age 25, with prior arrest record. Curve here is finance, age 25, without prior. Okay, so by looking at this two curve, do you think they reach one at the same speed or different speed? Which one reach 5 faster? Without finance, right? It run faster like this. So if you're the parole officer, okay, you say that I need to talk to the one with finance or without finance. Which one you should talk to them first and say, let's do something about it? You want to interview or visit the parole, you're the parole officer. You want to interview this guy first, or you want to interview this guy first? The top person, look here. At 200, it's still at 0.75. At 200, still at 0.75. Well, actually, this one, they don't see too much, they don't have too much differences. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, this one at 200 is a little bit above point A. See that? So obviously this one, without finance, reached to the top a little faster. So compare with these two examples, who you will intercept first, the top one or the bottom one? Should be the bottom one, right? Because they reach, they in trouble faster. So the question becomes, okay, there are two different ways to think about this. One is to think about how to make this one look like this one, and then you basically said, give them finance. They will reach a little slower. The other way is, you guys follow me? Look at here. This guy compared with this guy, he reached to the top a little faster. If it's significant, really, really draw fast, then you probably will say that, well, then give them money, so they won't reach the top as fast. Agree? And the second one is that, well, sorry, I don't have money to give them. Then you need to do what? Interview them or do something, talk to them a little earlier before something bad happened, right? You guys, you watch the news that there is a stampede happened in Seoul for the Halloween party, and parents basically, some say, man, I should have talked to my kids early, say don't go, or slow them down a little bit, intercept earlier. If I stopped them, they wouldn't get into that stampede. And so there are two things you can do, right? One is to, here, let me see if I can insert, where's the shape? Let me see if I can do this. You can do two things. One is, because this there's a one reach the top faster, so I will have my interview window early. And the other one is, rather than interview them early, basically said, well, if giving finance and without finance, there's a different speed. Then give them finance is better than give them finance. So the way how you think about this is, one is to change the physics. Follow me? It's give them something, the covariate, make the change. The other one is, if you cannot make the change, then psychophysically you need to prepare for it, right? I think I explained this in a lot of risk management, risk analysis. One is, well, if someone hit you with a baseball bat all the time, hitting your head, what should you do? And some people will say, oh, run away, wearing a helmet. And of course, the question is, why you let people do that to you in the first place? So don't let that happen. So first is to remove the risk factor. But removing the risk factor usually costs money. And the other way people said, oh, is training. Let them psychologically prepare for it. But as a human factor guy, training usually is the last resort. I don't believe training. A lot of time the best way to do it is changing the system, make it less vulnerable. But changing the system, you require resources or require reallocating the resources, okay? And I think I have enough lip service about this whole things. Now let's go into the steps, okay? Step one, we need to build a function, right? Rather than So numerically, we go step by step. Usually the step of this whole things, step 0, is to build a baseline regression. And what is the baseline regression? Okay, is to build a ST. And here, I'm building the ST based on this data set. Okay. And some things, if you don't like to use cards, use data lines. This is the same thing. And at the end of the data set, you have 0. Okay? And here, we have a survival function. This survival function is based on status 0 and 1. So 0 is the censorship. And after that, equal to something. We don't have equal to X, Y, Z, giving them money, giving them something. So we just build a regression line without any of this. And you can do this for proc live test, right? Can you build, here, using Excel, can you easily build a live test based on these things? Okay, so once you do that, okay, equal to nothing. And equal to nothing, just there is nothing, equal to blank usually means it's the baseline function. Okay? Agree so far? And of course, if you want, you still can do proc live test using the same data set and then just do the plot, right? Okay. So when you're done, you will have this data set, have 20 observations. The censoring variable is using 0 for censor. And right censor value, we have 7 censor, 13 non-censor, and we didn't do any left censor, okay? And log likelihood here is just a measurement about the fitness, and is negative 16. And later on, I'll say that is this negative 16 a good model or bad model, and compare with other model. And the goodness of fit, log rank value, those values we'll come back to explain them later. But what is really important is now we have several parameters here, okay? And I would like you to do this, go to SAS, proc, live, reg, okay? And once you have the proc live reg, you can see there's a proc live reg procedure. You can download that. Okay? That's just a free SAS manual. It used to cost a lot of money to buy the SAS manual. Now it's just free. Okay? And on the regressions, I would like you to go to, here we go, page 7080. In 7080, it will basically say there are all kinds of distribution. And for each distribution, they will say, okay, I will give you the parameter. And then you will build. They use W. W really is your T, okay? And then you find your mu. This is the parameter you need to find. And then you can build your survival function and your survival 1 minus survival function equal to your CDF and your PDF. And GT is the cumulative hazard function. The SAS has used different symbol for that, okay? And okay, so here are all the distributions supported by SAS. And I'm going to just focusing on one, Weibull. And why I'm focusing on Weibull, because it also easily translate and use that as an example for other functions. So back to my manual here, okay? So we run this according to the Weibull distribution. We will have the survival function equal to st equal to exponential negative lambda t to the alpha. So far, so good? You've seen this before, right? This is the same things you did for in exponential using Excel in the first months of our exercise. Agree? And you also know that the hazard function is the ft over st, right? Is the derivative of your PDF over your survival function, okay? And by doing this, okay, we're saying that, okay, for every case, if they survive, it's a ST. If they got censor, is the censor function. So here, look at here. Inside, we're just saying that the log likelihood, I have how many censor example? I have 7 censor example, and then I have 13 value for this. And here on top of that, I see here is a delta function, delta I, 20 case, I equal to 0 to, from 1 to 20. What does this delta I do? If delta I equal to 0, delta I equal to 0, this term will equal to 1, agree? Because the exponent equal to 0, right? Power of 0 equal to, so if delta I, just put it here, okay? On the notes, I give you CVAR for Weibull. If delta I equal to 0, means this is a survival case. And then delta I equal to 1, that is a censor case. So they're under the censor for that long. And so I will basically have 20 terms, either using hazard function or either using survival function, and just go one by one. And SAS use that, generate this table. So compare this table with my SAS output. You guys see exactly the same value? (20, 13, 16 for log likelihood. So far, so good? You see the SAS output, exactly the same thing as my PDF file, okay? And this PDF file, remember, is the one without any covariate. It's a baseline model. So this baseline model is the one you can plot just like what you did before, except we need to know where's my lambda, where's my all the other stuff, okay? And for Weibull distribution, the translation is the following. Okay, first, okay, lambda equal to negative beta 0 divided by sigma, okay? And so we need to figure out where is my beta 0. Beta 0 is the intercept. And the intercept means that there's nothing to correlate with. So there's no covariate, just intercept. So beta 0 is 3.36, this value. And look at is this value, okay? So I have beta 0 as your intercept, agree? Okay, and next, okay, I have my beta 0, then I need to have this exponential beta 0 divided by a scale function. That scale function is basically, the level I'm related to. So either you can use the sigma 0.46, the scale parameter here, 0.653. So beta 0 intercept divided by my scale, you will find your lambda parameter. This lambda parameter is not like we did before in Excel. We just plug in a value, 0.5, 0.2. This is a value based on that data set. It's a parameter from the data, not like the first months we just play with different shape or different set of data. Second thing is that, okay, look at here. There's a shape parameter. Remember, in Weibull distribution, I said it's widely used. Shape parameter equal to 1 is a special case. It's an exponential distribution. Shape parameter greater than 1 means that your hazard increase over time. Shape parameter less than 1 means the hazard getting less and less. So in this case, the hazard increase over time is 2.149. And how you figure out that 2.1249 is equal to shape parameter equal to 1 over the scale parameter. Okay? So far, so good? Okay? Yeah. What I'm doing right now is basically said that we've done something in Excel before, but that's science fiction. Now we're saying that no more science fiction. I'll give you a data set. You need to do something about it. Figure out those parameters. The second thing, is, of course, later is that, well, I don't like the shape. It died too quick. What can I do? Right? Here, if I give you a computer and say this is related to your senior projects or your capstone projects at the end, you need to run simulation. And you know your computer really died quick. What would you do? Redundancy, right? Buy 2 computers, buy 3 computers. So before one died, transfer the data to another one. And the other way is doing what? Well, if it's a battery problem or some problem, can you do something about it? And of course, the other way to deal with this problem is what? The computer died quick. Don't run the simulation too long. Run the simulation, or like your drone projects, don't have the long haul delivery. Turn the long haul delivery into short haul delivery. So you can stop and refill, or change the battery so you can finish the whole route, right? And there are similar problems actually in the old days. If you guys check the airlines, before 777 introduced in the 80 and 90, most of the major airline, what they use to cross oceans, Pacific or Atlantic, is 747. And what Boeing 747 at that time, of course, let's ignore Airbus. And at the time, we used a standard called ETOP 1. ETOP 2 means that within 2 hours, the airline, if during the flight, if the airplane in some sort of troubles, along the flight path, within 2 hours, they need to find an alternative airport to land the airplane. Engine failure, you need to find one. And because of the low reliability, so most of the flight will, like say, from New York or Chicago to Tokyo, they'll fly across Alaska from Anchorage, Aleutian Island, and cross Alaska, and then to the Siberia, Russian side, and coming down, because they need to find an airport close to the land. But now, Boeing has introduced 777. Rather than having 4 engines, okay, they only use 2 engines, but now it's ETOP, I'm sorry, before it's ETOP 1, now it's ETOP 2. So within 2 hours, before it's within 1 hour, you need to find alternative airport. Now it's within 2 hours, because the engine got more reliability. When you have more reliability, you can basically, get closer to the ocean. You don't need to get so close to the North Pole. And just for reliability story, can anybody tell me why Boeing 747 got 4 engines, got more redundancy? And actually, Boeing 747, they can fly with only 1 engine. 1 out of 4 is functional, it's good enough. So the old design concept is, hey, I have 4 engines, I have more redundancy. And how come for 4 engines, I have to find alternative airport within 1 hour? But now, 777, I have only 2 engines, half of the engine I have before, but I can actually find alternative with more freedom within 2 hours. Can you speculate why? Well, the engine, of course, the blade, the engine is getting much, much better. Rolls-Royce engine, the engine is getting better. There's also another thing is airline realizes every time when you do maintenance, okay, human introduce to check and do everything. The more engine you need to open up and check, the more likelihood you can have human error. And human can actually introduce the mechanical problems itself. So less involvement, less risk. So it's, on one hand, engine is getting more and more reliable, so you don't need to open up all the time. And open up the engine to check, you say this for safety reason, but you actually introduce more risk, okay? So here is the argument that, okay, we would like to check the shape and then the hazard function. And now the hazard obviously was the Weibo shape parameter is 2.14, okay? And finally, we can use that to find the so-called Weibo scale. And the Weibo scale equal to 1 over the scale parameter. So it's 1 over lambda to the 1 over alpha. So you can either write it this way. This is actually almost like in the old days, we're talking about Poisson and exponential is inverse. Here is the same things. 1 over tau to the alpha equal to lambda. Then tau equal to 1 over lambda to the power of 1 over alpha. So the scale parameter equal to 1 over 0.002 and 2.149 and it's 28.99. In the old days, okay, when I use SAS5, SAS6, they don't give us Weibo shape and Weibo scale. They only give us the first 2 terms. But now, if I give you the first 2 terms and I ask you what is the Weibo scale parameter and shape parameter, you should be able to find it. So far, so good? And The other thing I want you to think about is here, okay? Obviously, this hazard function, now I only have beta 0, right? What intercept? Okay? And what will happen later is I can have, besides beta 0, what will be the next thing I can have? Beta 1 times x 1, beta 2 times x2. Who knows what is that beta 1, beta 2, beta 3? They are a bunch of stuff that some will be good for the hazard, but whatever good for the hazard function, see here, whatever good for the hazard function will be bad for the life test. And whatever good for the life will be bad for the hazard function. So the other thing I want you to look at here is later when we build a regression, you will see that, okay, the beta 0, beta 1, beta 2 for the regression, if I divide it by the sigma, okay, right now I'm going to have beta 0. But later on, I will have more stuff. But whatever the stuff you need to talk about, those are from the life. And life need to divide it by, there are two things you need to do. One, you need to put a negative sign in front of it. Why? Because whatever, here's the hazard function, right? So let's just say that here I add a beta 1 times x1. And if beta 1 is positive, means it's good for life. And if it's good for life, it's bad for hazard. But if I add a function that is good for hazard, I will make the evil, we're talking about evil right after Halloween, right? Something bad, I can add a bad stuff. Smoking is bad, it's good for hazard. Make hazard stronger, make the evil thing stronger. Whatever make the evil thing stronger will make your life worse. So you will always see that beta 1, beta 2, beta 3. If I'm talking about life, okay, if it's a positive, and when I talk about hazard, will be turn the sign switch using negative sign, and then divided by the sigma. The sigma is the parameter of 1 over alpha. And 1 over alpha is your scale parameter. Follow me? I will repeat this one more time when I talk about the PDF file. But right now, intuitively, can you guys just think through with me? One, hazard function and life function, if there are certain parameters involved, their sign should be reversed, not the same. Second, all the hazard parameter, all the life function parameter, if you need to introduce them to hazard, you need to use the exponential power divided by a scale parameter. Everything's, whatever you're talking about, beta 1, beta 2, beta 0, whatever the beta you talk about, need to be weighted by a scale, sigma. Okay? And other than that, we basically can use this, turn into something we can plot. So now let me do another example, but this time I'll give you the Excel file. Okay, now we're using reciprocal function. And so in the reciprocal function, and I will go to the SAS. Let me go to SAS. Oh, I don't have SAS here. Okay, so this one is the same thing we had before. I just re-download it. Okay. Okay. This is the data of the what we have before. So I'm not changing anything there, except now I'm doing the same things under two conditions. Look at this too. One, live regression. How many weeks arrest will be censored out, but after that equal to nothing. This is my baseline model. Agree? I'm just talking about, hey, how things gonna go with or without the support. And then after that, I have a model with everything's. Okay? And of course, okay, I'm just give you a hint for a large homework is this. If I'm building a model, and let me block it first. I'm building a model and saying that, oh, I would like you to tell me with finance and without finance. Can I do that? So equal to finance, yes or no. So how many parameters involved? Only finance or no finance? And can you, for this one, remember, can you do a proc live test? And live test, you will have two-step function coming down. Agree? Strata equal to fine. Agree? Here, let me go back here for 1 second. Yeah, let me use. Oh, this one. I'm just saying here, okay, I can have a live test data equal to reset okay, and then after that week arrest. And then strata equal to fine. Okay, one by one. This is something I introduced last week, right? Live test. What does that one do to you? Investigate the step function. Does it come down faster using log rank test? That, hey, with finance or without finance, that does the inmates get the parole inmates get arrested faster? Agree? Can you guys see this function is due to you? This proc live test. It's just, you can compare variable by variable. Agree? You fully see that. This one just graphically compare with or without finance. You know, and I can have several lines. But here we only have with finance, without finance. Does it come down quick? Agree? And then what does this one do to you? This one is saying that, okay, with or without finance, does the regression parameter beta 1 times finance, okay? With the finance, 0. Without finance, 1. My original beta is beta 0 plus beta 1 times finance, right? And here, intuitively, we already did it in the live test, is with finance, we know they die slower. So with finance, the beta should be positive. So the hazard should be negative. Agree? So here we're basically having this 2 function. You should do later for each one of the variable. I want you to investigate, but this is not a part I want to demonstrate here. Now we're demonstrate here. Here I have a baseline regression, and here I have a very, very complex regression. Why I use a very, very complex regression? Because I want to show you the most difficult example, and then when you do your homework, which add 1, add 2, one at a time, you don't feel too stressful. You basically said that, oh, he wants to talk about race, he wants to talk about age, he wants to talk about work experience. So you start doing variable accounting. Which one you want to keep, which one you don't want to keep. Follow me? Okay, so this is this example going to give us, okay? But the one I just talked about is kind of connect to the past, okay? So if I run this, I will have 2 regression, okay? First regression is the regression with nothing, okay? And the log likelihood for Weibull, look at here. I still have my intercept, my scale, my Weibull scale, and my Weibull shape. So if you use the SAS manual and the lecture note I give you, can you use this 4.81 and 0.725, figure out the Weibull scale and Weibull shape? You plug and play the same way, right? And the next thing, of course, we need to plot that survival function. Next, this is this crazy one, okay? We have intercept, but on top of intercept, I have finance, age, and race, and all the parameter. Of course, if I worry about significance, finance is borderline significant, age is very, very significant, race is not significant. Race shouldn't be used in the regression. Would you agree? Because doesn't matter. You're in trouble, right? And then work experience, hey, doesn't mean anything. But here, prior play a role. So we know prior is important, age is important, finance is important. And next, would you guys agree with me? The p-value less important than 5. What are the important variables? Finance, age, and prior. The rest are not significant. Agree or not agree? Based on p-value. Okay, next. Finance is positive to life or negative to life, to survival. It's positive. Give them finance, they last longer. Age, positive. The longer they the older they are, the more experience they have. They know how to run away, not getting caught, or they just get mature, understand crime is crime, not committing any crimes. Okay? And then prior is negative. So what does a prior negative means? If they've done something bad before, they are more likely to get arrested again. Follow me? And of course, this is for live regression. Later, I'll ask you, if live regression is like this, what is the hazard function? Remember, I have one more SAS to introduce. It's PHREG. What does PHREG stand for? Proportional hazard. So later on, we can just see that. Model in hazard or model in life. And the beauty of Weibull is they actually can be visualized or are algebraically you know one, you know the other. Other distribution, they're not, you model in Hazard, you model in Gumbo or other distribution, you need to do a lot more work, okay? But so far, you see where I get all the parameters now, right? Now next, go to Excel, okay? Look at the first 4 number. Look familiar? Where are those 4 numbers coming from? This is the 4 number of my baseline model. See that? 4A 07123. Did you see that? Okay. And I basically use my show you. So if I know my intercept, how to use intercept to figure out exponential intercept divided by scale, I figure out my lambda parameter. And my Weibull shape parameter, 1.36, is 1 over the scale parameter. And my Weibull shape is 1 over scale to the power of 1 over shape to the 1 over the scale. Okay, so here I'm showing you how I use the SAS output to get my parameter output. Good or no good? I give you the Excel. Okay, next. I will have this set. And don't worry about a sum product. Well, we can put a sum product right now. Okay, here is the parameter I have before, right? But this time, last time, look at before, I only have the intercept. But now, besides intercept, I have what? A bunch of covariate, right? Remember, we have the covariate, finance is positive, age, everything. Remember? So, you see where this thing's coming from, right? This is from your SAS output. The parameter value, estimate value. Okay. Now, the tricky part is that this set of parameter is a general parameter for, if I'm working in the insurance company, is that set of parameter, let's just say that the company decides this is our policy. But now I need to say that, well, policy to which prisoner, which inmate, which product. So now I have a product, I say that, oh, if I have the following set, okay? I have someone with finance, age, so I have here is beta 0. Beta 1 for finance is finance is 1. Age is 30. Race, I'll say is 1. Work experience is 0. Marriage status is 1. Let's just pretend all the parameters can be used, okay? In reality, we know that the statistics say some is useful, some is not. So we could eliminate some variable and say, that's nonsense, never use that. But here, let's say that we use all the parameter. So all the parameter for this subject, finance, yes, age 30, race, yes, work experience, 1, 0, and then I have this set of parameter. Then I can use this, okay? Sum product of everything times, and of course, then I need to find my lambda value, and this time for my lambda value, oh, I'm sorry, I should use this one. Now I'm coming down here. So for my lambda value, okay, should equal to let me ignore that one first. This is here. Okay. Look at here. What did I put in there? First, I have a beta 0, right? Right? And what is this 1.51? That is every parameter times the covariate. Agree? So here, yeah, you can say that this is my IMA, or no, my Perot IMA value. So I know that I have two values I need to get involved. Here, I know how to do this. Here, how many values involved? Only the intercept. Why only the intercept? Because I don't have any, as a baseline, I don't have any covariate. Agree? But here, okay, how did I get that value? Okay, I get that value by saying the following. Hey, I need your baseline value, intercept, plus all the variable involved value, and both those things combined together. This part, D11 plus D12 equal to what? Beta 0 plus beta 1 times finance, beta 2 times age, beta 3 times race, beta 4 times work experience. That is this value plus this value. Agree? Inside, this is all the regressor's value. Agree or not agree? Okay, so compare this lambda and this lambda. Okay, is I have totally different parameters involved. Okay, and next, I need to find my I need to find my alpha value just like before, and alpha is easy. Alpha is equal to 1 over the scale parameter. And then this is the same things like before. So compare this one versus this one. What's the major differences? I have a baseline survival function. Here is a survival function, not the baseline. It's the survival function of this specific person. Okay? And once you have that, okay, next things we're going to do is the following. Okay? I can have my survival function. Oh, let me do this one first. Here's my survival function using exponential, okay? And then, of course, here is my failure function, is the 1 over that part. And what I did is, every 3 weeks, I find a point. So if you plot this two, this is baseline without any parameter, okay? And let me just put this equal to t. Insert the parameter, okay? And this is coming down. And if I want to plot ft, it's going up. See that? So what's the difference between this plot and the plot you have before using Excel, just made up number? This is based on the inmate data. And this is not only based on the inmate data. To set up the parameter, we also say this is for a very, very specific person. That is our subject. Yada, yada. Okay? Now, can you imagine if I give you a set of wind turbine data from West Texas, okay, in a wind farm, and they said that, the level of dust storm, the gear ratio, the blade shape, all kinds of parameters. And then I have the wind farm data for the last 2 years or last 10 years. And then I can say, this kind of wear and tear, the parameter is negative, 0.237. And this kind of maintenance schedule is positive. And you can find also a set of parameters. And then you can build your baseline of the survival function or reliability of that kind of wind farm. And then I suddenly just say, you're the insurance company or you're the maintenance company. We need to write a contract. How long we can do the preventive maintenance or corrective maintenance. You tell me how much money you're going to charge me. And what are you going to do? Hey, give me the wind turbines parameter. What's the gear ratio and everything? And then you plot them. You generate your FT and ST, okay? And so now let's do that for the parameter for survival function. So now we're using the ratio from the survival function. So we're doing the same thing here. Here is with that specific set of variable, okay? And I'll insert. Yeah, and this is the survival function with all the variable. And if I turn around to here, I get my survival function. And if you compare the survival, this is my ST, this is my FT. Okay, but if you compare this FT with this FT, immediately, okay, what did you see? Is our subject survive a little better than the baseline or survive worse than the baseline? He died a lot slower, right? So he is a lot better than the baseline. And then, so you will start asking, okay, so is this a subject based on your baseline? If I'm going to charge my baseline $50 to maintain one, would you charge more on this maintenance or charge less? Less, right? Because this died quicker. And then, of course, if I said that I need to do interview or maintenance for my baseline around 200 weeks. Okay? For 200 weeks, look at your subject. Is that better or worse? Probably a little better, right? So you probably say, hey, for this guy, typically I interview them or intervene in 200. But for this kind of senior person, I can wait till 400, wait a little longer to interview them or to check a little more. So far, so good? Yeah. So now we're going back to where we start, just now with more help from SAS to do this. Okay? So by Thursday, I'm going to introduce a VAR line psychophysically, and then calculate the I3 value. And that's the complete set of what we're going to do. And then I'm going to give you a longer, probably more than a week, to run a more detailed analysis of this whole set with all the tools available. I probably will on Thursday and say that, okay, do you have this tool? Do you have this tool? Do you have this tool? Can you use all this tool to tell me which policy is a good policy, which policy is a bad policy? Okay? So you visualize where we're going? Yeah. We're not doing anything too far away from our science fiction, except now we have interview data, we have real data to deal with it. Okay? Okay, I think I need to let you go. See you next time. Thank you.